So you want to do the intro again?
Oh god. I mean, I got a comment last time saying that it gave someone nausea.
I thought that was funny. It was a funny comment.
No, I don't know what to do, so it'll just be the same as last time. You can do a funny intro this time. I believe in you, Caedo.
Can I?
Yeah.
All right.
No pressure, but this has to be perfect or everyone will click away.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. It's gotta be perfect. It's gotta be flawless. First time through one take.
Yep.
Let's do it. Hi everyone. Welcome to the PIPCAST 3000. I'm Caedo Genesis. This is my co-host, BADCompanySarge.
Whoa!
And I've already ruined the one take.
Oh no.
This is a podcast we talk about gaming news and Fallout and other stuff. Probably a lot of Skyrim this time. And we're on episode 72. Our topic is going to be about what elements would make the next Fallout game the best for character builds. I don't know how I'm going to work a title in for that one, but I guess I'll figure it out. And yeah, we have a few interesting news topics, but primarily we're going to be talking about the Skyrim anniversary trailer. It's on screen. You can see it. But we start with our tip of the day and the comment of the cast. So, tip of the day. Sarge, would you like to take that one?
Tip of the day is don't eat all of your candy at once. Give it to Sarge instead. I am now accepting all candies, chocolate bars, sweet treats. Hell, just it doesn't even need to be food. Just give me your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even asking anymore. Just give it to me. It's now a demand.
Give Sarge your stuff.
Yep, it's mine.
I should have mentioned, like, this is a Halloween episode, because, you know,
it's coming out on Halloween.
It's coming out on Halloween, yeah. So I would expect, like, almost no one to listen to it and instead be, I don't know, eating candy or something. I
feel like no one's doing anything this Halloween. It's fine.
Yeah.
My Halloween's plans are get drunk and stream.
Yeah. Mine are, I don't know, do the same thing I always do, really. Just sit here and probably play Path of Exile or something. Anyway, we also had a comment of the cast from Rose Graham from last episode where we were talking about essential versus non-essential NPCs. And Rose Graham said, I prefer non-essential. It allows more freedom to the player and allows more opportunities to alter the story that has its own consequences in the short and long run, respectively, depending on the character. Having essential characters just removes this freedom and somewhat takes me away from the immersion as much as the occasional bugs.
Immersion.
Immersion. You said the word, Rose. Yeah. We gotten a comment from or used a comment from you before, but it had been a while, so decided to drop another one in there.
And everyone else's comment sucked. It's so bad. So bad.
It was more that like many of the other commenters had already been more recent. Yeah. Or had more recent comments shared. It was probably a mistake just doing multiple comments at once, because then the next episode people are commenting in it, and we used 3 of them. Yeah. From last episode. So. And
the people who actually commented last time did leave some alright comments.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else though, up your game.
Yeah. So let's dive into the news. Let's start with a fun one. Let's get this bullcrap out of the way.
Yeah, let's funge it up.
Let's funge up the whole world and ecosystem. Let's do it. NFT developers. What? Sorry?
I was gonna say funge is good, surely, because NFTs are non-fungible, and we don't like them. So what we want is to funge everything.
Yeah.
Hey kids,
no, you're right.
Go out and funge a friend.
It's natural to funge things. Okay. And this article is via PC Gamer. NFT developers petition Valve to unban blockchain games from Steam. If you were here last episode, we went over Steam putting in specific rules against NFT or blockchain oriented games, where they would have those economies within the games themselves, and they could be traded between I don't know what, but it's something that can't really be regulated, so they're just like, no. That's basically the gist that we were getting out of it. But some NFT developers petitioned to have Steam rethink their decision, and saying that they're used to experimenting and innovating and pioneering and all these fun words where Steam was the first blah blah blah, and they're just like, well, you should be a pioneer of NFTs and blockchain too. And Steam has yet to reply. I wonder like what Gaben is saying in response just out loud, which we'll probably never hear. Yeah, I think it's I don't know. I hope Steam sticks to their guns, because Tim Sweeney or Epic Games went back on what they said they were going to do with NFTs, and are now making specific guidelines for NFT blockchain products to be put on their launcher, which is not good. Jumping on the bandwagon where money can be gained. It's a rich people's game. I need to remind people that this is a rich people's game. Don't invest in this crap. You're not gonna make anything out of it. It's like investing in stocks just because you like the company. It's we're talking about. There was a Reddit post that was finding out ways to equate non-fungible tokens to other things, such as buying a star. You have the certificate, but it doesn't matter. You just wasted your money. Like that's what you can expect. Don't buy into it. It's a stupid idea. And it's the amount of energy usage with, you know, the increased popularity too is going to ruin our planet further.
I've lost all energy I had from the intro. I'm just like, oh no.
Well, that's why I did this one first.
Okay.
So we can finish off strong.
All right. It's a smart move.
Yeah. The petition's dumb. These developers need to just make a regular video game. That's my take on it.
I'd like to live in a world where just making the most money wasn't the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Communist Manifesto starts playing and there's a million dislikes on the video. How did that happen? I just said one thing.
That's how it happens, Sarge.
A slippery slope. You have one criticism of capitalism and you fall to the Reds.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, something else that's a slippery slope is the music choice for the Witcher 2 season 2 trailer. Witcher season Witcher.
Okay, let's trailer. Keep going with this. I'm interested to see how far you can take it.
Netflix put out the Witcher season 2 trailer for what I think it comes out in December, right?
Yep, December 17th.
And I was used to the kind of like folky, almost tribal soundtrack of, or you know, the toss a coin to your Witcher kind of vibe, and it wasn't that at all.
No.
It starts with percussion, then rap comes in, and I'm just like, what? Yeah. Excuse me?
It's the song Monster by Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Kanye West. And his famous track Monster.
So the trailer is cool. It shows some cool previews of like the monsters Geralt's gonna fight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked for it. Also, was it Fringilla and Yennefer's kind of backstory / alliance, something like that. They're gonna go to war. Like that's the main thing. Like they're going to war.
North versus cool. South, as it always is.
Yeah. And it's
I want more East versus West conflicts personally. I'm bored of all North versus South. Come on.
Well, I mean, Fallout's kind of East versus West.
Oh, I guess if you're talking about like the Great War.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one.
I mean, I say kind of because it's just like the whole world got nuked, but
yeah, it's also like,
East and West were part of it.
Whenever it's like a landlocked conflict, though, it always seems to be North versus South. And I don't know why those are like the most famous historical examples, and also the thing that happens in fantasy all the time. But it's just like, oh, those soft Southerners, oh, those barbaric Northerners, every time.
Yeah.
Anyway, Witcher go and block spear.
I thought you were gonna promote your Skyrim Civil War thing.
No, I'll do that at the end.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hey,
well,
I'm not shelling myself out.
We also saw Ciri and Geralt showing up at Kaer Morhen, and she's gonna start her Witcher training, which is gonna be cool too. So, yeah, looking forward to The Witcher Season 2. That's gonna be one of my Christmas things that I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I want to point out that visually it's really crisp as well, which I like.
Yeah.
It just really does show that it's like being filmed well, and this is only like what 1080. Yeah, I'm only watching it at 1080p. The trailer does go up to 4K, but even at 1080p, like just everything looks really good. They've got good cameras for this, and the makeup's really good, and the costumes are very well designed, but it holds up to scrutiny even in like paused frames and stuff.
I didn't pay attention. Like the one of the biggest complaints was the Nilfgaard armor.
Is it not historically accurate?
It's not that it wasn't historically accurate, it's that it looked like it was textured like a human body part, that nobody should have armor that looks like it.
Wait, what? I'm clicking through to try and work out where this is in the trailer.
It's not in this trailer, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
But they're probably gonna hold off on the Nilfgaard armor reveal. Or maybe they kept it the same, it just didn't, which would be hilarious. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that they adjusted the Nilfgaard armor anyway. Anyway, something else we got teased about is more Starfield stuff.
Ooh, it's a good tease. It's like actual some level of information.
Yes.
It's cool. Also, Camel is the first person who shows up in the comments for this thing for me. That's fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just scrolled down a tiny bit and was like, oh, that's Camel. Commented 5 days ago. Oh, wait, the trailer came out like 6-7 days ago. Man, it's almost like we're commenting on the stuff that happened in the past 2 weeks. Yeah. It's
Emil
looks younger every year.
Paglarulo. Paglarulo.
We just go with Emil. But yeah.
Yeah.
In this little, like, it's not a trailer or anything. It's basically a lore video.
Yeah.
We get to see talks about a few factions, a ton of concept art, which all looks really cool. It's just nice. It's a very short video. It's less than 90 seconds, but we get to see some different art, learn that there's different factions. There's not really any new footage. The actual footage we see is all from the trailer, but it's just a nice little thing. And with the game over a year out, I'm glad they're not giving too much information, but are still willing to give like a little bit here and there. I feel like that's a good way to do it, seeing as there's a lot of time before release.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it is a slow trickle instead of like a downpour and then a drought.
Yeah.
And then boom, it's here and possibly broken.
Oh. Man. I will say one thing that's really nice to see is that people on this video are being very positive in the comments. Whereas often it's like, Bethesda, oh, bleh, online these days.
Yeah.
Which isn't fun.
No, not usually.
No. Like, criticism and critique is good. Vomiting, that's bad.
Yeah, it is bad.
Oh, you know what I'm going to bring up? I'm going to bring up the perfect example of it, because I had it the other day, because I'm getting so many dumb comments. And I had a great one. I literally put it in a tweet as, this is going to be my favourite Bethesda sucks now take I've ever seen, from someone in the comments in my most recent video says, "You've been playing Bethesda games for how long and just getting pissed off now in 2021? Bethesda ruined all their games when God Howard was hired." You know, Todd Howard.
Todd Howard, one of the founders.
He was actually hired in 1994.
No, that's right.
Which means Bethesda had already made Wayne Gretzky Hockey, some Terminator games, and Elder Scrolls Arena released in the year Todd Howard was hired. So I'm not sure if he worked on that, but yeah, I prefer Bethesda when they were making Wayne Gretzky Hockey games.
Yeah,
they fell off after that.
Wait, okay. So, I mean, that still kind of makes him a founding member of, like, both main series.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Just not of Bethesda.
Yeah, Todd Howard technically wasn't there from the start, but before then, like, Bethesda weren't making any, like, IP or stuff, really. It was, yeah. Todd Howard has been there since before I was born. Like, literally, Todd Howard has worked at Bethesda for longer than I've been alive.
Yeah, and he's been there for all of the big releases.
Yeah.
So.
But Bethesda fell off when he got hired.
Man, they sure did. Yeah. Morrowind? Barely know her. It's funny. Your commenters are silly.
Yeah, stupid is the word you're looking for. The most recent video, they are definitely stupid.
They're your commenters, you can call them whatever
they're not
you
even my audience. They're random people who found one video I made in under an hour and were like, God, I hate everything. Screw you, British person. You know what's fun? Video games. Let's talk about them instead.
Yeah, let's do that.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is a game I'm looking forward to.
Me too.
We're probably going to end up playing it co-op.
Yeah.
Man.
Correct.
That'll be, yeah. And,
yeah.
So, Caedo, do you think you're going to be a Stabomancer or a Berserker?
That's an excellent question, because they both look like fun.
They both look like punchy things.
The Stabomancer looks like a sword thrower or blade thrower person type thing. So, probably, I haven't seen the other classes, obviously.
Yeah.
But Berserker is probably what I go to for out of these two classes.
Alright. Well, yes. We've had a Welcome to Wonderlands video be published, showing off the classes Stabomancer and Berserker, which is two of, I assume, 4 classes that will be at launch. That's how Borderlands games go.
Yeah. I'd be pretty impressed if there was more than 2 on launch.
Really?
Or, I mean, more than 4. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
More than I can. Math is very challenging today.
That's right. I will say one thing I love, and that I'd actually wanted from the Borderlands series for a while, and considered making a video on back in my early days of YouTube and never did, was stealth. The Stabomancer has a skill called From the Shadows, which gives you stealth mode, which I like.
Ooh.
I genuinely think stealth is like a cool thing to throw into the Borderlands franchise, especially as it is, or Wonderlands in this case. It's still basically a Borderlands spin-off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's a cool thing to add, because these games typically do have a lot of, there's a ton of enemies to kill, go around on a rampage, so I feel like you can put in stealth to pick off enemies without it, like, ruining the flow of the game too much.
Yeah.
You don't end up in a Bethesda situation where it's overpowered. Grr.
Oh. Bugthesda.
Oh, no, that was invented.
Just go away, Todd.
Okay. Berserker has a big axe that makes a cold explosion, which is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of Ice Element overall. Ice is nice. Nice as ice.
Nice.
And Berserker also does a spinny cold axe, which it's a bit like Asgore. Huh?
Yeah.
Big cold axe kills everyone instantly.
Yep.
I'm a fan.
They just need a decapitation.
Yeah. I'll be honest though, neither of these classes appeal to me like a ton. They both look like classes that I'll happily play, but neither of them are like, yeah, that's what I'm going to be mainlining. I want to see what the other classes are before I'm like, yes, that's what I'm going with. Because I want, like, a cool character who's super fast and can abandon all my teammates.
And that's the one you're going to be playing.
Yep, that's how I always play video games. I'm like, hey guys, you want to play a game with me? Bye!
Later.
I'm already in the next mission.
Yep.
I'll talk about it later, but I've been playing some Borderlands 3, and I'm not speedrunning the game, but I am like 5 levels below what I'm supposed to be, because I'm just sprinting past most fights. I can't help it. I like being fast.
We haven't had too many like fantasy shootery type games of this nature, right?
Well,
like,
no, you don't often get fantasy shooters. I think it's a good thing to go for.
Because like the closest that's coming to mind is Vermintide.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that the Warhammer world is one of the few like fantasy worlds that kind of leans in a little bit to guns.
Well,
but even
yeah,
it's like
that's
black
right.
powder.
Because the dwarf has like a minigun and handgun or pistols and stuff.
Yeah, depending on who you're playing as in the Warhammer world, you can get access to lots of guns. I just started a Skaven campaign on Total War Warhammer 2, and I've got miniguns and literal nukes and tons of stuff. Because they get
all the Skaven have ridiculous guns and junk.
Yeah. Skaven, literally, for those who don't know, Warhammer is a fantasy world where there are rat people who have miniguns, flamethrowers, laser cannons, just ridiculous technology.
Yeah.
It's great. It's so much fun.
And it's what was their thing? Like their chance of failure is just incredibly high.
Oh yeah, Skaven are complete cowards, and all of their weapons are incredibly unstable, so they will occasionally just explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
Playing them on tabletop is a horrible experience, as I know firsthand. Your troops fire, they all blow up, the enemy walks one step closer and they flee off the battlefield. That's every Skaven battle that's ever taken place.
That's great.
But it is fun to have guns. Guns are good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
guns
the official PIPCAST stance.
Yep. That's the if you're gonna take any quote, guns are neat. Play more video games.
Yeah.
That have guns and fantasy and stuff.
I am a fan of seeing guns in a fantasy setting in games. I think there's right and wrong ways to go about it. I've been sitting on a like Elder Scrolls with guns video idea for a while about how to like correctly introduce guns into the Elder Scrolls franchise if Bethesda ever wanted to do that. And I think there's cool ways to do it. And within like Wonderlands and the Borderlands franchise, I feel like they can go very wacky with it, just due to the nature of the overlapping IP.
Yeah. Yeah. They have the benefit of being as ridiculous as possible and still working.
Yeah.
Because that's how it started, basically.
Yeah. You know what else is completely ridiculous and hopefully will work?
Yeah.
Games that were on PlayStation but have been ported to the PC.
Yeah. I mean, one of them so far worked pretty well.
Ah, that's good.
That I played.
Very good. That'd be Horizon. It's wakey time, right?
Horizon, yes. Horizon 0 o'clock.
Yep.
With Dinosaur Edition.
Ooh.
Robo Dino Edition.
Yep. So, the news here is that Sony has formed the PlayStation PC label for the PC games push, and PlayStation PC is a terrible name. Like, PlayStation I respected for being like, yep, it's for PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5. That was nice and simple. But now I see even more why they did that. Because as bad as Xbox is with like 360, Xbox One and all of that, they do seem slightly better on naming the ancillary stuff. PlayStation's like, PlayStation PC. I'm going to play this game on my PlayStation PC.
Yeah, because well, you know by hearing it that what it is.
I mean, when I hear PlayStation PC, I imagine like a Sony branded computer that only plays PlayStation games.
That would still be closer than Xbox Series X.
Yeah, I think the console side of things for Xbox is terrible. But Xbox Game Pass and stuff, that makes sense, and it's a good name, I think. It's a pass that you get, and you can play a bunch of games from like the Xbox family. Like, yeah. PlayStation's good at naming the consoles, Xbox isn't good at naming the extra stuff. If only they worked together, they could be good at naming everything.
Yeah.
Good news, PC gamers.
Yeah.
It looks like a bunch of the PlayStation games will actually come onto PC and it'll be more of a focus. Which is good. For me. And I don't care about anyone else. Screw the rest of you.
It's the Uncharted 4, A Thief's End and Uncharted The Lost Legacy, as well as God of War.
Yep.
The first one that was on the PS4 should be arriving on PC. Like, those are the ones that are expected. Or the ones that were announced, I think. And then Sackboy: A Big Adventure may be coming to PC as well, because it was spotted in Steam's database, I guess, according to another article. It's like all this is in the article that we referenced too, so you can, if you're super interested to see what kind of PlayStation goodies you can get on your computer, it's there.
I mean,
to look at.
I will say the most exciting thing is that the new Uncharted. Is the Lost Legacy new?
I don't know.
I've never played an Uncharted game. I've got to check this now.
Here's the thing. I played the trilogy, like the first 3 games, and it was just a blur of like a movie that I was playing that had really crap gameplay. Like that's my hot take on Uncharted. Like, this Nathan Drake, this man can take so many bullets.
Okay, it turns out the games are from 2016 and 2017. The article says that, like, looking ahead, Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy will also make a jump to PC in 2022, shortly after they arrive for PS5. So it's just like, they're getting kind of put on PS5, but also on PC. Man, I was so much more excited by this article when I thought it might be the case that PlayStation games will actually, like, come to PC a short while after they're released. But it looks like it's more of the same. PlayStation just, like, have their games as exclusives of the console for ages. Then, like, several years after they've come out, will be like, yeah, we'll make a PC port.
Yeah.
They may have, like, given this, like, process a name of PlayStation PC now. But in my opinion, it's not actually, like, anything to get too excited about until they actually say, like, oh, hey, 6 months after a game comes out on PlayStation, we're gonna port it to PC.
Yeah, make it something more easy to anticipate for all of us with short attention spans.
Yeah. Because when did the recent God of War come out?
The first one?
Not okay, 2018 was
yes.
That one.
The PS4 God of War.
And that's coming out this month. So God of War is a few years. And that's, I think, the shortest time that I'm aware of between a PlayStation exclusive and the jump to PC.
Let's see when Horizon Zero Dawn came out. 2017.
Oh, wait, no. It's technically God of War's coming out next year, but it's January 14th, so only 2 weeks in. It's just years. It's just years and years and years that you have to wait. Hey, PlayStation, if you want to get me excited about your games, you can't just be like, yeah, you'll eventually get to play some of them on PC, maybe, if we decide to in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know what? I'm happy these games do end up with a PC port, but I'm probably not going to play any of them because they all tend to be in third person.
Oh yeah, Death Stranding as well. I almost forgot to mention my man Kojima.
Was that a PlayStation exclusive?
It was for a bit, yeah.
When did that go to PC?
August 2020?
When did Death Stranding come out on PlayStation?
November 2019.
Okay, so that's a short one. That's the one to be leading the charge with. That's like a short...
Yeah, PC version was July 14th, 2020.
Okay, so that's still like...
a year.
Yeah, still like, what, 10 months was that?
Yeah.
But, hey, that's like within a year is at least something where you can be like, oh, okay. Man, all of these, hey, remember that game that came out 5 years ago? Wouldn't you like to play it again?
Yeah.
God. I can't believe there's companies who are still trying to flog games that are years and years old. What kind of a person would support a company that just keep flogging an old game?
Yeah. What are we segueing to here, Sarge?
We're not segueing.
Oh, okay.
I'm setting up for the comments to be like, oh, you did that thing that you're going to talk about later. So, it's supposed to be set up, beat, punchline, but sometimes you can do set up, wait, and then the punchline comes in later.
You think
I know how to do comedy.
Do you think people are paying attention that close, though?
Oh god, no, these jokes are all for me. I assume everyone else is left at this point.
This is just for Sarge.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's interesting to see, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox all being kind of like a metaverse of sorts, some kind of universal, all-inclusive kind of thing where it's a fluid collection that you're going to have of video games. Basically, I'm trying to urge us towards the Metaverse's bullcrap thing.
Yep.
That you decided to put in the outline.
Yes. Meta. Oh, God. It's so dumb, but we have to acknowledge it.
Okay.
So for those who don't know, Facebook has changed its name to Meta, but that's the only thing it's changed, so it's as bad as ever.
Yep.
There's also going to be a Metaverse. Can you imagine a world where everyone could be connected? People from across the globe, in different countries even, could connect with each other. They could talk. They could play D&D every Saturday night over on Jared Gaming's Twitch channel. Can you possibly imagine a world where that would be possible?
This only sounds like a theory. I have yet to see it in practice, Sarge.
I know, it's crazy. But thankfully, there's gonna be the Metaverse. Thanks to Facebook and Epic. Oh, they're saving us all from our world where the internet doesn't exist. Oh god, it's so dumb. I can't even keep going. So, I'm not even entirely sure what the Metaverse is supposed to be. At least supposed to be in this thing. It appears to be just like, hey, you make a 3D avatar and you can talk to people, kind of like VR chat rooms and stuff. And you have an account and stuff, and real life and internet, right? They're connected. It's all very vague. And appears to be the same as what we already have.
Yeah, it's more like something like, oh, this is like your Swiss Army existence. Like, yeah, it sounds really dumb. Just to quote the last bit of I think the first paragraph. They say the other bull word, by the way, for the article, and it's funny. It says games, NFTs, crypto, VR, AR, the blockchain, they're all wrapped up in this idea of a virtually integrated society in which our Fortnite costumes will carry over to our OnlyFans accounts and we will never ever have to log off. We already kind of do a lot of those things. This is just an exaggerated example, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
the only difference I can think there is, are they making tablets which will make it so we don't have to sleep?
Yeah.
Is that where the no logging off comes from?
You've heard of sleep aids, now try anti-sleep aids. Yeah, it sounds really stupid. Like they're trying to. This is going to be the new buzzword that is going to mean absolutely nothing. It's just dumb.
Yeah, it's a lot of you get to experience this rather than just looking at it. You won't be looking at screens. You'll be living in it.
Yeah. And or just lose all value completely. Imagine if Mark Zuckerberg, because he was coming up with this stupid meta thing for Facebook. Imagine if he was just looking at watching some Marvel films and being like, Metaverse, Meta. Oh my god!
Yeah. I'll be entirely honest. When I first heard so Epic Metaverse and being all that, I was just like, oh yeah, they're just talking about how they've got characters from all of these different IPs who jump into Fortnite. That's all it is. There's nothing there. I don't need to worry about it. And then Facebook got involved, and I was like, oh no, I have to worry about this?
Yeah.
Oh, dang, it is a thing to worry about. It's just people with too much money who don't understand that the internet exists and VR exists already, and trying to sell both packaged together as this revolutionary new idea is not going to interest anyone.
No. Especially most people who, budget.
Yeah.
The incentive, despite some really good games being on VR, not everybody's going to own a VR headset.
I can't. I don't have the space for VR or the money for VR.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and there's that too. There's only so many of the standalone VR systems, and one of them is owned by Facebook, Oculus, and I'm like, screw that. I'm not doing that. I need a Facebook account. Screw you, Zuck.
Yep.
No. Don't invade my freaking VR experience with your bullcrap.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously, like everyone else, I love it when the ultra wealthy tell me how I could live my life better, because it's always the best advice.
The best advice. They know, they've been in our shoes, man. They had to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and just use daddy's money.
Yeah, they remember the days where they only started with 100k a year salary. They know what it's like to struggle. Oh,
Sarge, we're supposed to be having fun with these topics.
No, I refuse fun. We're gonna depress everyone.
No,
it's much better. Oh, the metaverse is just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot see a single proper positive about it that doesn't already exist.
Yeah,
everything good they're talking about, we've had for years now.
Yep, and when you talk about metaverse stuff, like capabilities of things, Discord is freaking there. It does pretty much everything.
Yep, we are talking on Discord now. I sent so many pictures of chocolate bars to Caedo through Discord.
Yeah, and just the other day, Sarge was sharing a project idea with me and perhaps a little collaboration, and I sent all the files over through the audio of my voice over to Sarge, and then a couple links to Google to the videos.
Yep. You also streamed while you were getting footage on Discord.
Yep. I'm pretty sure Discord still has do they still have games? I can't remember.
Possibly there's Discord Nitro. I don't know if your face rig thing that you use for D&D works through Discord as well, but that would also be 3D.
It does, yeah.
Okay, that's 3D objects in Discord. Man. Tim Sweeney and Mark Zuckerberg are gonna go mental when they learn about Discord.
I know, right? They're gonna go crazy. You can have bots that do basically anything.
Jeez. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous. Alright, well, I think we can clock out of this part of it now. There's a big old article about it, which it's like an opinion piece, but it also breaks down a bunch of the flaws with it.
Yeah.
If you want to have a read through that and keep going.
I was gonna say, I'm glad you pointed that out, because it doesn't say opinion anywhere on the PC. Come on, PC gamer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay pretty butt mad about that for a little while. I think
that's fair. You know what, PC Gamer, I'd argue, is probably the best video game news site out there.
Yeah,
but they really should put opinion and stuff like that on top.
Yeah,
that would be good.
The headline is a bit of an indicator, but so many people do take articles of any kind as gospel, and I just want to make sure that people know.
Yeah,
it's an opinion. Or as absolute truth. Man, I hate so much. I wonder who perpetuated. Here's a fun rant. I wonder who perpetuated the whole bad blood between Obsidian and Bethesda, because they didn't get their bonus. Because there's no bad blood there, whatsoever. Both Obsidian and Bethesda have confirmed on many occasions that they're just they didn't make the bonus. They didn't get their bonus. They still got paid for the work. just didn't get the bonus because they didn't meet the meta score.
Well, it's also a thing I hear regularly of Bethesda never acknowledges New Vegas, but it was New Vegas' birthday not that long ago.
Yeah.
And there was Bethesda's Twitter was all like, "Yay, New Vegas is this many years old! Woo!"
I think when people say acknowledge, they mean like, remaster it, or something like that, something outrageous.
I got one of those comments. If you want to dig through it as well. I'm not going to.
Sure.
I'm not going to. No, I'm not doing it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I refuse. I'm not looking at my comment section. I've done it too much and I'm sad now.
I looked at one earlier and it was funny. It was.
There's a lot. Hey, if anyone wants to have a laugh, just go over to my most recent video, read through the comments, and feel smart about yourself. Because there's like an 80%, a 19. You know what? There's a 99% chance that you're smarter than the majority of people in there, I believe.
Yeah. And leave a comment. Basically, my best buddy Kite left a comment just saying video games, and that is more intelligent than some of the comments, I dare say, in that video where Sarge is annoyed with the Skyrim anniversary trailer.
I literally made a rant video. It took me like less than an hour to make. It was just a quick upload for my subscribers, and it is the video that YouTube decided was going to hit the algorithm and go on recommended, and now is going to be like my most viewed video of the year in like a week from now. It's ridiculous. And it just means there's a bunch of strangers coming in going, God, a British person, God, someone complaining, God, how did I click on this video? Oh wait, because I'm an idiot.
Well, before we get too far into that, let's go with the 76 thing and then jump back into the Skyrim anniversary thingy.
Let's do that. So Fallout 76 is doing some Halloween stuff, but it's not the mystery night because that kept crashing for players.
What?
So there's a lot of people who are annoyed that Mystery Night's not happening, even though it appears to be all the same rewards are going through the spooky Scorched event instead. But spooky Scorched not crashing things. There are now, all around Appalachia, a bunch of Scorched dressed up in Halloween costumes. You beat them up, you loot their corpses, and you get rewards.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of plans, and none of them apparently are new. So if you're someone who plays the game a lot, you already own this stuff. If, like me, you don't play the game much anymore, you don't own any of it.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. It seems like, I don't know if you're the same, Sarge, but I fall off around the October time because that's when other games are coming out, I guess. Or other games are pulling my attention away from it.
I mean, there's nothing coming out right now that I'm interested in, but I did find one game that just got released to Game Pass, which I'm planning on covering, and I played another Elder Scrolls game, which I want to make an angry video about. So even without games coming out, I found other stuff. 76 also has like a candy bowl, and you can go to other people's camps and take a piece of mystery candy, and there's like plans or whatever you get for it. It's a fine Halloween event. There's not like a problem with it, but it's just not much.
Mm-hmm. Can I guess what game you were going to play? From Game Pass?
Go ahead and take a guess.
Age of Empires 4?
Nope.
Doom Eternal?
Nope.
Dark Alliance? No, I'm just kidding.
You shouldn't keep guessing anyway. It's fine. I'll probably stream it.
Okay.
I'm considering streaming it because it technically falls under the existing kind of sphere of games I cover, technically. But it's an interesting one. Yeah. That's my little hint.
Okay.
But something that totally isn't related to the game that I'm going to be playing is some Skyrim stuff that's happening.
Yeah! Yeah, so we were talking about the Skyrim anniversary a little bit. It's going to be Skyrim's 10-year anniversary, 11/11/21.
Yep.
And we're Sarge, you made a video on it.
Yep, I ranted about it. And I basically complained that even with this new video out, like the new video, all it does is showcase some of the Creation Club content which is coming out. My complaints were, is Creation Club stuff canon or not canon or what? And I got a multitude of replies in my comments from people saying none of it is canon except for like base game Skyrim basically, all the way up to someone genuinely making a not at all jokey argument that every single modded playthrough that anyone's ever made is canon. Which means Thomas the Tank Engine is a Skyrim character.
And Macho Man Randy Savage is both a Deathclaw and a dragon. Got it.
Yes, that is true. And this person had no hint of irony or comedic sensibilities of what they were saying.
That's funny.
But yeah, that was one complaint I had. The biggest complaint I have is that we don't really know exactly how this is going to work. Because there's the Anniversary Edition, and then there's an upgrade to Special Edition, which are two separate things which people do not understand even when I tell them about it. I'm more angry now than I was before I made the video, because I've now had to deal with people.
It is confusing, though.
It's very confusing.
If you look at it, and you're just like, okay, if I have this edition, out of the how many editions of Skyrim there are now, then I can get these things, like a handful of things. But if I get Anniversary Edition, it comes with all of these things, or this handful of things, as well as all of the CC content.
Yeah, so what's supposed to be the case is that if you own Skyrim Special Edition, then you should be able to get 4 pieces of Creation Club content for free, which is Saints and Seducers, Rare Curios, Fishing, I believe, and Survival Mode. What's not clear is if you have to go through the Creation Club store and those things are going to be permanently free, or if it's just going to be an automatic update, which just adds all that stuff into your game and you can't turn it off because it's Creation Club, which is the biggest complaint I had, I'd say.
Yep.
But then there's also the Anniversary Edition, which is a different edition of Skyrim, which has all of the Creation Club content that's been made from now up until when Creation Club first came out. It's everything. All of the Creation Club stuff. However, this is not very clear to people as well. Also, we can't see prices for Anniversary Edition or anything like that. And it's a whole kerfuffle. It's been terrible, terrible marketing. Until we actually hit the date, we won't know. And I think I said in my video, hey, I'm normally against pre-orders and stuff, and I don't think you should pre-order, but the fact there's no page to see where you can get Anniversary Edition, how much it's going to cost, anything like that, makes it quite hard to know anything about it. We do not know the price. The release date should be the 11th of November, but we don't know the time for the release either.
I think it's the worst because it sounds, maybe this is the marketing side that I'm thinking from here. Maybe they didn't show pre-orders and prices strictly because they're worried about a backlash for not being a payable upgrade and instead just being a whole game.
Yeah, but
or a full price game. So
but there's a backlash already. The trailer has about the same like to dislike ratio that my video has.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people on my video do hate me. But on top of that, there were a lot of people who just seem to be disliking for the sake of, I don't like what Bethesda doing with this. So, yeah, it's a whole thing. It is a whole thing. This is all supposed to be in celebration of the 10-year anniversary of Skyrim. But it's causing way more backlash than positive attention.
With the things that you saw in the trailer, what kind of content do you think you're gonna make?
I mean, I don't know, because I don't know if I'll get the game, because I don't know how to get the game. Oh. But if I get the game, then I'll probably just...
When?
If. It's if. It would be when, if they'd actually tell me how to get it and how it all works. But they haven't. I'd probably do some streams and some builds. Because here's the thing as well, if the Anniversary Edition is one full package that's easy for people to use and things, then I could justify a bit more making builds for Anniversary Edition which use some of the different stuff. And I could play around and have a bit of fun with that, if that's the way it all works.
I have a feeling it's going to be on Game Pass.
See, that's the other thing. They haven't mentioned that. I've had people say, yeah, of course it's going to be on Game Pass, but it doesn't show on Game Pass. It's not on the coming soon on Game Pass. It's... Yeah, if it's on Game Pass, then great. I can get it without any extra payment. That's perfect. And that should mean that I can keep Special Edition as it is with all my saves and stuff on Steam, and I can install Anniversary Edition on Game Pass, and they're separate. That would be perfect for me. But I don't know if that's the case, because Bethesda have not been clear with their communications. And people online will just be like, no, I know exactly what I'm talking about, and just spout their opinion on what they think will happen as if it's fact, and that's causing more confusion.
And this is why you made a rant video.
Yes, this is exactly why I made a rant video. And God, I half regret making that video, because it's just opened me up to the world of...
It's okay, Sarge.
Hey, on the right side of the next episode of PIPCAST, we'll be able to report on what happened with Anniversary Edition.
Yeah.
Because it's less than 2 weeks before it's out, and we don't know all this stuff about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bigger problem. If this video came out like a few months ago, I wouldn't have a big deal about it. But with it being so close, it's so close, and we don't really know what's going on still. It's frustrating.
That it is. Well, something else that may be frustrating to you, Sarge.
Yeah.
Is how much of a legend you are.
Oh! Wait, is that now going to be actually in, like, the Fallout topic, like, title thing?
Probably. I don't know.
Oh, dear.
If it'll fit on the screen.
So, Caedo foolishly lets me edit these documents.
Mm-hmm.
Where we have all of our topics and stuff for the PIPCAST.
Yep.
And I added the Fallout topic of what elements would make the next Fallout game the best of character builds. Also, Sarge is a legend. Because sometimes you got to give yourself the compliments. The world's not going to do it for you. Give yourself a compliment instead.
Yeah.
Because the world hates you. Don't forget it.
No, they just hate your opinions.
And your face. Doesn't even matter if you don't show it. They just instinctively hate it.
Sarge.
Sorry. Oh. Okay, so yes. Oh man, annoyingly, I had like a title idea as well. Oh, building a better Fallout. Something like that would be like a potential title for PIPCAST.
Building a better Fallout something character something.
No. Clickbait it more.
Building...
Free New Vegas 2 giveaway. Okay, we've got the title. Now, yeah, obviously I'm a bit known as a character build maker. Maybe not so much anymore, because I only do it from occasion.
Mm-hmm.
But when the two of us first started talking, I was making builds like almost every single week.
Yeah. So many builds.
I wish I still had that energy. I can barely get one a month now. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I do genuinely think that there's a lot of really good stuff in the Fallout games when it comes to making character builds. They rate very high in my rating system, which some of you will get to see next week. But I figured it'd be good to talk about what could be improved for making character builds. And one thing I actually want to start with is the kind of physical body character creator. Because I feel that's something that gets overlooked a fair bit. But from playing a bunch of games recently where I've been trying to make builds, but I can't design my character's appearance or anything, it was like, oh, I'm just going to look like generic dude. Great. But having a really good character creator where you can change a lot of details is good for that. And one thing that bugs me a lot in Fallout 4 as well is the body slider, where it's a triangle slider, which is just fat, skinny, muscular. And those are 3 directions you go in. And I do not like that slider. I do not like it. I think there's much better ways to go about it. I'll say, especially with the female body characters, I feel like they've always got like a very distinctive hourglass-shaped figure, and you can't change that at all, which makes like the bodies all look pretty much the same. You can either just make them a bit muscular, chubby, or skinny, and I don't like that. I don't like that, and I want to moan about it. So for the next half an hour of this topic, I'm just going to moan about that one thing. Unless Caedo stops me. Please stop me.
Okay, well, as an example of video games that did do it pretty well. Like you've played a bunch of games that have more involved character creation. I played Kenshi for a ridiculous amount of time.
Yes.
And the character creation in that game is essentially sliders for everything.
Oh, that's good.
You can make the most grotesque being imaginable that still vaguely appears like a human. Like you can go all the way down to affecting their posture.
Ooh.
Like they can look like an old geezer or old grandma and wield a sword still.
That's good. I will say that's actually kind of a thing as well, where I find in a lot of Fallout, whenever I try and make an old character, it does not look like an old character. Because even when you can give them wrinkles and grey hair, basically.
Yeah.
But nothing else about them really changes. Mm-hmm. They're still sprinting around the wasteland like a professional athlete. It's it's like, come on.
The game. I mean, I still ranted about how ridiculous Kenshi is with even its skill building system, but skills, like your strength and speed and those kinds of things can affect muscle density and tone as well on your characters. Okay. And then obviously hunger. If your hunger starts getting into the critical, like your skeleton starts showing, like all of your mass just disappears and you look like a skeleton.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I like that kind of stuff in Fallout as well.
Yeah.
Because we've had it for a long time as well. The second you started talking about that, I started thinking about GTA San Andreas, where you can go to the gym to get very muscular, and you build that up, or you can eat a bunch of food and get really fat.
Yeah. Oh, Fable 2? Fable 2 did that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is like not a new thing at all. This has been around for ages. Come on, Bethesda. You can have this stuff.
I wonder if it just has to do with how they model their equipment and stuff like that. I wonder if it's limitations based on that kind of thing. Because I can see that. Because Kenshi does have some weird clipping depending on how you make your character. Like really weird clipping, and they just don't care.
Yeah.
they let you do it anyway. So
it could be an issue, but there's still like more that the character creator can do. I think with Fallout 4 as an example as well, the character creator at the start is lacking a lot of options that you then get once you get into like Diamond City with the hairdresser and stuff. Mm-hmm. Because the game was like, oh no, you're in pre-war at the beginning, so you have to look vaguely normal, and then you can dye your hair after the apocalypse, because you know how hair dye was outlawed during the Great War.
Right.
Yeah, so obviously you can't have it that way. But then your character can actually look good when we get into Diamond City.
Yeah.
Like, there's clearly more stuff that can be done. And I feel like 76's character creator was a little better than Fallout 4's, in terms of, like, physical attributes and stuff, or physical appearance and stuff. Like, it wasn't a huge upgrade or anything. It's not, like, enough to be like, wow, look at this. But I feel like it was just an extra step in the right direction. And the more you do with that, the better. Because if you can really change things, and have way more sliders, and way more options, then you can make different characters that don't have to just fit in so well. Fallout 4 really did suffer from the problem as well that it was like, you had to play as either the mother or the father of a child that was born before the nukes dropped. Mm-hmm. Like, there is a narrative limiting to it, which screws up not only the physical appearance side of things, but also backstory. Because writing backstories for Fallout 4 builds was, oh boy.
Challenging.
Yeah. Especially when you go for an evil character who's like, yeah, they murdered tons of people, and then retired to suburban America.
They committed war crimes, but never got caught.
Yes, that is genuinely like 20 of my characters, I want to say. And obviously I wrote it better than that, but it's still a bit jarring. Like, even when I came up with good reasons, like the best I could write, it's still like, if you think about it for too long, it's like, wait, this person killed like 100 people, why are they just chilling in suburbia? But I think that the Fallout games generally aren't great with that. New Vegas is by far the best, in my opinion, when it comes to giving you a nice open-ended backstory. Because being a courier is a very, like, open-ended job. It's not the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, your character must have been doing this for years and years, they must have these allegiances in their past or anything. No, it could be very much just like, oh, you took a job just quickly to earn some extra cash.
Yep.
Like, you can work in the courier backstory very easily. I will say the DLCs make it a little trickier, because it kind of implies that you've been couriering? I don't know, for a while. But it's still not terrible, and still ranks out of the best. However, Bethesda's other franchise, Elder Scrolls, does backstory implementation so much better. Because you start off as a prisoner, arrested for, I don't know what. Often it could be like something completely innocent, or you could put it as something completely terrible. It's a surprisingly open backstory, like, every time. It's just, you were arrested, but you're being let free for some reason or another, and you can decide if it was, like, a night of being drunk, a mistake where you were framed, or you're pure evil.
It's very comforting.
Really
yeah, it's super comforting to hear Sir Patrick Stewart say, you know, I don't care what you did.
Yeah.
You're important right now. Our destinies are tied together.
Oh, I was in his dreams last night, and he thinks about me all the time, and he loves me.
Dad, is that you? Sir Patrick Stewart? Are you my dad?
Oh no, it's just Liam Neeson again.
Oh, dang it.
Actually, I think Fallout 3, on the jokey tangent there, is kind of a worse for character backstories, because the game starts with you being born.
Yeah.
You cannot write a backstory for Fallout 3, because the game begins as soon as your life gets at all interesting.
Yeah.
The most you can do is add a tiny bit of flavour to life in the vault, like, maybe you were good at sports, or you once talked to people.
Yeah.
But it's even the case of the game makes it clear that you have, like, some conflict with the Tunnel Snakes and aren't with them or anything, and Amarta's, like, your friend, and you don't have many others. Like, there's so little wiggle room with Fallout 3.
As you left the vault, you decided to let Butch's mom die.
Yeah. Yeah. But Fallout 3 as well, I feel, is quite good on letting you do some, like, evil choices and stuff after you've left the vault. Which is something that a lot of Fallout games aren't so good on. And one of the best things that Fallout can do going forwards is let the player character be evil.
Yeah. Because
it can be real difficult to be the bad guy sometimes.
Yes.
And I don't like that.
Yes, it can. You saw you know, like the developer conundrum for, like, evil characters, right?
No.
They don't know how much effort they want to put in to playing evil, because only a handful of players are going to play evil characters.
Yeah, I do get that. But honestly, more than anything, I just like more neutral as well, which could be interpreted as evil. Because too often it is, I am a super good protagonist, here to save your lives and be a beacon of shining light. And it's like, no. Fallout 4, I'm going to talk about Fallout 4 again, because it's a big example of a lot of things that are wrong. But Fallout 4 were being voiced as well by, like, generic American man and generic American woman voices, pretty much. Like, the voice actors did fine, but they weren't changing their voice depending on, like, what character you were role-playing as. Yeah. Which means Rage, who's, like, my most big, scary character, who's supposed to be, like, this tormented individual, huge black guy, covered in scars, burn marks, kills everyone with a shish kebab, just, like, roar! Just as, like, hi there! Anytime he talks. And it ruins everything. It is like, no, that voice clearly does not come from this person.
Yeah.
Which is why also Bethesda should not have a voice protagonist next time. Although I feel like it's unlikely that they will. I
feel like they figured that out.
Yeah. Like, it's a ton of extra work and has a overall negative reaction.
Mm-hmm. Even though sarcastic playthroughs and dialogue skips are among my favorite things in Fallout 4.
There was a lot of like good performances and stuff that went in there.
Oh yeah.
And it just wasn't the right time for it, unfortunately. It's like, wow, this is great. Why'd you put it here?
Yeah, taking the design for something that's a lot more linear, like Mass Effect, and putting it into Fallout was probably not. Putting it into a massive open world game was probably not the best approach. But they know that now. So.
I will say one minor point as well, which I feel like Bethesda and just open world games in general should do a bit more often, is just start referring to characters by they. Because I've noticed that with so many of the like alternate dialogue lines, it is just a gendered response, depending on if you chose male or female. And they could get rid of the male and female, just like click one or the other, and change it with a slider to masculine to feminine body. If they don't have the voice, they don't need to worry about like voice types and stuff.
Right.
And by putting they, that just is everyone in there. And it makes things a lot easier. It'll reduce Bethesda's workload and just make things flow better.
Yeah. Or just make it some form of proper noun that's neutral. Like
I don't expect them to say they every single time.
The courier. I feel like Obsidian did that a lot with New Vegas, was like just referring to the courier as the courier.
Yeah. Honestly, the best kind of example of not referring to someone that I've seen or heard technically in a video game is actually Final Fantasy X, where I found out after the fact that they never say Tidus's name.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I played through that game up until like the penultimate boss basically, and did not notice it once. Because it turns out in real life, you don't really need to say names that often.
Oh no.
It's very normal to just be like, oh hey, like I don't know if I've said Caedo's name yet today. And we've been talking for a couple of hours.
Yes. Yes, we have.
You don't need to start every call where you're aware of who the person is by saying, hello, your name plus title plus exposition. How are you today?
But we both said Sarge because Sarge is a legend.
Yeah, my name gets said all the time. It's great. Yeah,
I learned that. Sorry, I could do a little example.
Yeah.
I went to a get together with some former coworkers a month or two ago, and there was one individual there where like I had some of the best conversations with this dude, but I could not remember his name because he started working there like shortly before I left.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what is this man's name? What is his name? And I just made it a point to not say anyone's name while I was there, so I wouldn't lead anybody to think that I forgot their names. Yeah. So I'd just be like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And then when we did introductions, I'd be like, hey, I'm Jesse, which is my real
Oh my god!
My real
exposed.
human name.
No!
Like a human. It's weird saying it out loud too at this point. Like I've been Caedo for like 8 years. More than that actually. And more people call me Caedo than call me Jesse, so anyway, so there's a tips and tricks for...
No, I was gonna use a couple bring one example as well. In the before times, there was like this elderly gentleman who would walk through the village with their dog, who I believe was called Jesse. I kind of remember the dog's name.
It was me!
It was Caedo. That's when Caedo and I first met. Well, he was walking around on all fours eating grass. No, but there was this elderly gentleman in the village, and I learned his name a couple of times, never said it, don't know his name now, had conversations with him, sometimes would chat for like 10-15 minutes before I walked to work, and never needed to use the name, was never an issue. It's just like, oh, hi there, and then you start talking. That's it. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Names are overrated.
Yep, that's true. That's the... Is that the summarization of the topic?
I was going to say we should probably talk a little bit about like the nitty-gritty skill style thing. Because we've mainly gone with superficial elements here.
Yeah.
Which are still important and do help flavour the character a lot. But if you've only got that stuff and not a solid skill base to work off of, then a character build's worthless.
That's true. If Kenshi was just a weird character builder, I wouldn't have played it for 100+ hours.
Yeah. To start off, I will say special I really like, just straight up. Yeah. I feel like there's always some rebalancing that needs to be done with it in pretty much every game. Like, often I find intelligence is a bit too strong, charisma's a bit too weak. That's a very common thread. Mm-hmm. But apart from that, the other skills can be balanced as need be, and different specials are often work as shorthand to let people know roughly what kind of a build you're going. Like, if you're a high perception, agility, luck style character, it's like, you're a VATS, hit him every time and get crits kind of person,
I think perception was a little too powerful in 4, actually.
See, I disagree.
Yeah?
I don't think perception's that good in Fallout 4. And the vast majority of my characters have perception 1, because I can manually aim well, so I don't really use VATS for perception. And yeah, like, I've made a high perception character as my last build, and it was good, but still the VATS percentages I was like, not great. Not great.
Oh, there are a lot of VATS based. Okay, that makes sense then. I'm looking at the poster on my thing, and it's primarily
perception has some good stuff. I'm not surprised you like it, seeing as it's got an explosive skill in.
Yeah, I said it was too powerful because it has too much packed into it, is what I was kind of getting to.
Okay. Keep going.
I just want explosives to be under endurance, or demolition expert to be under endurance, because that's where I think it belongs.
That's fair enough.
And endurance is, in my mind, a bit underused, or
I'd agree with that.
It's not required for like any playthrough. However, in Fallout 4, if I was watching Mini True Nerd's like fastest person in the wasteland thing, and he said after you reach like 21 endurance, your AP doesn't go down when you sprint.
That's nice.
Like, you could just sprint forever.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at the perk chart now, and man, there's only ever like 2? Yeah, there's 2 perks in endurance I take, which is Aqua Boy, or Aqua Girl, which is really good, especially in survival mode.
Oh yeah.
It becomes crazy good. And Life Giver I do like, simply because at rank 20, if you put 3 points into it, you get health regen.
Yeah.
But I am very much someone who likes health regen. Mm-hmm. Like, I've heard so many people be like, no, it sucks. Like, it's by no means a perk which everyone thinks is amazing.
The one at the bottom too, the solar powered, right?
Solar powered's good, but you need 10 endurance for it.
Yeah.
And it gives you extra strength and endurance at the first rank.
Yep.
And then, at 27, you get your radiation being healed, which is nice. I mean, in survival mode, that's a good one as well. But also getting to level 27 in survival mode will take a while.
Yes.
But then the regen you get from that, the health regen, is at rank 50. Which, is proper endgame.
Yeah.
Like, post-game, basically, actually. Which is why I go with a Life Giver instead. Because level 20 is not that hard to get up to.
Right.
Level 50 is ridiculous to get up to.
Because that'll be... playing. Unless you're exploring every nook and cranny, you'll be, pretty much done with the main story.
Yeah. You're only going to really use the final perk of Solar Powered if you're also doing, like, DLC and side quests and lots of stuff. If you're going for a big playthrough.
Yeah.
See, I'm also not sure whether or not I like the perks being linked to the special stats, like they are in 4, or if I prefer like a method from like Fallout 3 and New Vegas, where they're sometimes linked, but there's a bunch of generic ones.
Yeah, like some of them only have level requirements, then others have like attribute and skill requirements.
Yeah, because 3 and New Vegas, obviously there was a lot more level-based, whereas with 4 being more special-based, it means you can get really like powerful perks at level 2. Like, you can get the first level of Gun Fu at level 2, just by having 10 agility at the start. And I'm really not sure if there's one way which is better than the other. I do think they're very much just different.
Yeah.
But I will say something I'd really like to see is just better skills in general. because looking at the Fallout 4 tree, there's a lot of skills in here which are like must-haves, which I'm not always a great fan of.
Yeah.
Because especially with damage perks, a lot of it is like, oh, you're playing a rifle character, you have to have all the ranks of rifleman.
Yeah.
And it's majority-based, just increasing the damage number, which is never that fun.
Yep.
And yet, looking through the perk tree, there's nothing in there that is like, oh, that's really exciting. So much of it is just stat-based.
Yeah. I don't know.
Whereas
there are some fun ones, like Pain Train.
Yeah, Pain Train is fun. I'll give it that. Requires 10 strength, fuck jeez.
And Blitz.
But Blitz is... oh my god.
Blitz is broken.
I avoid using Blitz most of the time.
If you're running melee survival, you have to.
Yeah, I mean, you can do melee survival without Blitz from people I've heard who do it, but just be prepared to die a lot in the early game. I had one person a while back being like, no, I do it fine. And they were talking about, like, yeah, you just, like, sort out your power armor and build it up really good. And then everyone was questioning them about, like, but what about the start of the game? And they just didn't respond to any questions about the start of the game. Just like, no, when you're at the end of the game and have tons of health and unlimited stim packs and great power armor, it's easy.
What? Yeah, obviously. Yeah, once you get over that level 20 hump, like, it's, you know, and you have a decent build for survival, yes, you can obviously survive the game without going to a bed every 3 minutes.
Oh, I want to give a quick spotlight to the Fallout 3 perks, which are for like getting ears or fingers off of good/bad characters, because they actually change up how you play the game. They give you new locations, they can give you like rewards. They affect kind of the morality your character goes within. They, for me, are examples of, like, incredibly good perks. Like, I love things like that, which really help define a character and change the way the game is actually played. Yeah.
New Vegas did that a little bit, too, with the Ranger, or the NCR dog tags and Legion ears.
Yeah.
Just, like, integrated that into the game, though, instead of needing a perk.
Yeah.
But also, that would affect reputation rather than karma, which, obviously, from our previous conversations, I still very much prefer reputation over karma.
I've got my 4-point system. Or 4-axis system, technically. Which is the best way to do it. Bethesda hire me. And what was I going to say? Oh, I completely forgot what I was going to say. You know, I want more thematic perks which play heavily into different playstyles. Like, I'm staring at this Fallout 4 perk tree, and there was, like, potential to have multiple things work together for certain builds, and in some cases it works. In some cases it really works. Like, I mentioned, like, VATS-based combat, how a lot of, like, agility and luck stuff goes together really well. But then there's other things as well, like in Charisma, Wasteland Whisperer and Intimidation and perks like that just aren't strong enough to be used in like a sort of pacifist or non-combative way. They fail so often that they are wasted perks 9 times out of 10, I'd say.
Intimidate, during my 2-timer playthrough, like Intimidate was still with a maxed out Charisma, maxed out to... I think I maxed it out to 13. 13 base, that is. And then stacking whatever I could. Like, it was still failing pretty regularly.
Yeah. And while it's failing, you're being shot at, and you alert the enemy when you do it as well. So it's not like you can even stealth do it or anything. It was a really cool idea for a perk that just does not work.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing. It needs to happen. Like, if you're going to put in the cool and interesting perks, make it so that they actually work out.
Yeah. I think we shouldn't only refer to the perk tree itself, though, either, because there are, in 3, 4, and New Vegas, different perks that you get through just playing, as well as, I think 4 has a ridiculous amount because of the collectibles, too. Like, outrageous amount of things that shouldn't even be perks that are, like all of the crit damage ones for each weapon type. Ridiculous. Just put the magazines in. You don't need an excuse. Or just like once you have all 10, that would be a better motivator, honestly. Once you have all 10, then it gives you the full bonus.
Yeah. You know, I'd actually quite like to see kind of building off of that faction-based perks.
Yeah.
Because that's something you get in the greatest game of all time, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Where when you join up and do a lot of stuff with a faction and complete story missions with them and stuff, you end up with perks that are like, you're really good with the Forsworn. Not Forsworn. That's the other thing.
Warsworn.
Warsworn, that's it. Thank you.
Totally different.
Yes. Warsworn. You're better at melee-based stuff because they're a melee-based faction.
They had a Niskaru damage bonus too, didn't they?
Possibly. I can't remember the exact bonus.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of siding with a faction, giving you perks related to something that makes sense for that faction.
Yeah.
Because it helps build the character as the game goes by as well, in a very natural way. Mm-hmm. Like if you side with the Brotherhood, you're better with heavy weapons or laser-based weapons, and you're tougher or something.
Yeah. Instead of just power armor training.
Yeah. Side with a Raider faction, and maybe chems become more potent, things like that. There's really good ways to integrate it, which I want to see.
Yeah.
It's not just the initial building of the character. It's them playing through the game as them, and having things tick by is important.
I want the challenge perks to be a thing again. I liked those in New Vegas.
Yeah. I'm always down for that kind of stuff.
Don't know how many times I've gotten Camel of the Mojave pop up and be like, oh yeah, that's a thing. So after you drink so many purified waters, it's like 25 or 30 or something like that, or maybe even 50.
Man.
But like water, purified water becomes more effective at hydrating you, and or healing. I don't remember which.
I wonder if I've ever drunk purified water in New Vegas. The Sunset Sarsaparilla. Why would I drink water?
Let me look it up really quick. Water is 15% better at removing dehydration and healing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's after not a drop to drink challenge, which is 100 water items.
Wow. Okay, yeah. That explains why it wasn't ringing a bell for me. Is there even 100 water in New Vegas?
Yeah, of course.
You sure?
He's got to pick up everything.
Honestly, I legit cannot remember picking up water in New Vegas. It must have happened, obviously, but I'm just like, no, that's Sunset Sarsaparilla. That's all there is. Sunset Sarsaparilla is life.
Yeah. Then they had the damage-related perks came after killing so many of a type of animal. Yeah.
Now that stuff
or type
I'm
of
way
enemy.
More into.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you've done this thing a bunch, you're good at it now.
So once you hit a certain point where you've like say in Fallout 3, you've mowed down at least 15 super mutant overlords, you're just like, oh my god, can you stop being a sponge? Yeah. Then you get a perk after that makes them a little bit easier and not waste as much of your ammo.
I'd kind of like some of those things to also maybe go in as traits and stuff, in a way that like, oh hey, in your past you've killed tons of super mutants, so you start out better at killing super mutants at the beginning of the game.
Oh.
That sort of thing. Like, so I wouldn't want it directly integrated into the trait system, because I think traits are very good as well. It should also be there.
Yeah, Wasteland 3 actually did those separately.
Yeah.
They had
maybe like backstory perks.
Yeah, that's actually what I think that's what it's called.
Oh, yeah. Wasteland devs, hire me.
Wasteland 3.
I can tell you what you've already done and be like, yeah, that was a good idea.
No, Wasteland 3. Crap. Now I gotta bring up the freaking...
That's fine. But I think that could be very well done. I will say a game that did it very poorly on the whole backstory perk front was The Outer Worlds, which gives you the most minor of minor bonuses, which are just completely irrelevant. Like, I went through and looked at some of my Outer Worlds footage recently, and It shows me like going through all of the different perks that you get from your backstory. Is like, oh, you were a sous chef, so you get +1 one-handed weapons.
Yeah,
which is nothing.
Really not good.
Yeah, it's such a minor bonus, but it will not change the way you play at all.
Yeah,
like it is very stupid. But I feel like a good backstory perk could be awesome. And I feel as well a good thing to do if you do add in a backstory perk element is to kind of make an unknown kind of thing where it doesn't tie you down to anything. Because obviously putting all this stuff in like, oh, you were good at killing super mutants, or maybe you were a really good diplomat so you get better prices or whatever. Or, oh, you were a thief so you're better at sneaking or stuff like that. It's also important to have like a kind of blank canvas one, just in case you get to the problem that I had with Dragon Age Origins, where it's like, oh, hey, here's your 2 to 3 potential backstories you can pick from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't want to limit it too much. You always want like a completely blank option for people to pick.
Yeah. So I had to look it up. So it was clarified. Wasteland 3 has 3 particular things that kind of help customize your character further, and that is backstory and perks and quirks.
Okay.
Quirks are basically traits. Perks obviously are the thing you get when you level up so many times, and then background is when you create the character, that it is what they're basically makes their character have more of a history with the world and things like that, as well as giving them a bonus.
Yeah. Do they have like a blank option for that, or is it all just stuff? Because I find often it's all just, hey, you have to go down these paths. I don't like being forced down paths.
Yeah, it's completely open. Like, you can choose no backstory too.
Thumbs up for that. Well done. That's always what I want. I always just want the option to not be forced down a route of, hey, this is what happened to your character. Make sure it's always got the option to be open. And that's the most important part.
Okay. Oh, here we go. The list of backgrounds. Bookworm, XP bonus of +5%. Desert Cat, perception +1. Perception is actually measured. I think it's measured by your entire party's perception value.
Okay.
So like that can be extremely beneficial no matter what. And the requirements for perception are pretty low. Disciple of the Metal, fire damage bonus +15%. Explodomaniac, explosive damage bonus +15%. These are actually decent. Goat Killer, critical chance +5% for a starting character. That's good.
Yeah.
Mopey Poet, evasion +5%. Here we go. Raider Hater, bonus damage to humans +10%.
Cool. Man, these sound very much like the kind of fake perks that I'd put in to a video I make.
They do.
Like, I've genuinely got perk card videos for like, hey, put these perk cards into Fallout 76. And I designed and created a bunch of perk cards, and I'm like, wow, these sound so similar to the stuff that I'd come up with. So, yeah. I think it's also very important to make sure that the backstory perks are balanced and stuff. And same with traits / quirks / all of the starting things.
Yeah.
Because New Vegas has traits, which is good. However, good-natured and skilled stand out to me, like, as so much better than the others, that I find it very hard to go for anything else.
Yeah.
Like,
it's small frame for me. Like, in pretty much any Fallout game that has it, like, I take small frame.
Yeah. For me, though, just like, good-natured is, it just boosts a bunch of skills while getting rid of, like, a bit of combat skills. But unless you're going for several different weapon types, it's a great pick. And skilled itself, because there's a level cap, it's a great perk. Like, skilled
in New Vegas.
Great trait. Yeah. Skilled would be, like, a more challenging pick for me if it wasn't like, oh no, when you hit this level, you do not get XP anymore. Because reducing the XP you get, or increasing the XP you get, is only really a consequence one way or the other when there's not a level cap.
Yeah.
So, like, in Fallout 4, boosting your XP gain is really, really good.
Yes.
Because although technically there's, like, a couple of soft level caps. It's like, oh, if you can get every single perk and every single special maxed out,
you can level forever.
And it's like, you're in the 400s, I want to say, or something ridiculous by the time that happens, which you've done everything in the game by that point.
Yeah.
But in New Vegas, especially like pre-DLC, it was just like, wow, you make it to like, what, level 30? That's it?
Yeah.
It's like, cool. So, yeah, that was woo.
I do still want to do a Logan's Loophole playthrough at some point.
Yeah.
Because that locks you out of the level 50 cap and lets you stay at 30, but also gives you a crap ton of benefits for using chems.
Yeah. A Logan's Loophole to me is always one where I'm like, I always consider it and never go for it.
Yeah, me too. That's why I want to.
Yeah,
I want to do something.
It's interesting, but it's just like, I missed out on 20 levels to make chems a bit better. Like, I don't use chems that much as well.
Yeah. You would have to in that kind of playthrough for sure.
So happy. Yeah.
But I want to mention before we get too far into it, while skilled is really good in New Vegas, it's not good in the classic games.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, skilled does boost all of your skills. I think all of your skills by 10, but drops the amount of perks you get.
Yeah, isn't it perk every like 4 levels instead of 3?
Every fourth instead of every 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, by level 12 you would have 3 perks instead of 4.
Yeah. It's
if you took skilled.
Not very good.
Which every little bit counts, or every little bit helps in the classic games. So don't take skilled. No. Take good natured. The classics have that one too. Take good natured instead.
Good natured's decent.
And gifted. Gifted is incredible. Yep. Those ones counteract each other.
Are there any other elements for character builds that you can think of? Because I feel like we've covered a good amount with it personally.
I mean, I just don't want. I mean, you talked about the Outer Worlds a little bit too. I don't want the next choices we get to be as boring as the Outer Worlds was.
Oh.
I'm throwing some Obsidian shade a little bit, and if Obsidian ever feels like listening, I apologize. However, the perk choices, especially if you tied those into your phobia system, which is freaking awesome, by the way, the reward is not worth it. No. Like, perks are so boring. They're just increasing values in the Outer Worlds, and
I do have that criticism as well.
Please make them better.
There's also not many perks to pick from in that game, so the fact that so many were just like, carry, £50 more equipment, deal, 5% more damage, walk, 10% faster.
I still like going back to Wasteland 3 and think about how they did it. Because the perks were limited to like you had like 4 universal perks or something like that, and then the rest of them were unlocked via skills. Like after you hit a certain point in a skill, like those perks would be unlocked for that level up. Of course, you could save skill points or perk points too for later.
Yeah, probably my favorite kind of perk is one that gives you a new ability.
Yeah,
and a lot of the games recently I've seen that. I've been playing Borderlands 3 with Flak, and their like top tier perk for the trio went down is you melee attack an enemy, and they like go on your side for a short amount of time. That is like a genuine game-changing perk.
That was cool.
And having actual abilities is very, very good to have.
Yeah.
And I do think it'd be a little harder potentially in a Fallout game to do it than in some other games. Like a lot of the examples I first thought of were like fantasy-based, where you get like spells and mystical powers and stuff.
Yeah. Then you can do pretty much anything.
Yeah. But still in Fallout, I'm sure there's potential ways to do it. Like the one mentioned earlier, Pain Train, is basically a new ability while in power armor from that perk.
Yeah.
So it's certainly not impossible. And if you could do like perks to make like hip fire shooting do something cool, like,
I don't know. Like more like weapon subclass proficiencies, if that makes sense. So like well, using my favorite as an example, like Power Fist.
Yep.
Going into either strength or endurance, whatever attribute was going to be used for it this time around. Then having some form of bonuses to Power Fist specifically if you hit a certain value in that attribute in strength or endurance, like having the ability to stun or knock down or like counterattack, like freaking Veronica's counterattack move. Dude, companions teaching perks too. Holy crap, dude. That's so cool. I forgot about that.
Fallout 4 has like a weird implementation of that, where alongside the damage bonuses you get extra effects. But I will say I'm not as big a fan of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you do get companion perks in 4 as well.
Yeah, you do. But with like the damage stuff, like you have a chance to disarm when you increase the pistol damage perk with Gunslinger, but you're taking that perk for the damage. You're not taking it for the extra effect.
Yeah.
And I feel like separating them is a bit more important.
I think proficiency might be a really cool thing, because you can be like, I am very skilled with all rifles, but this rifle is mine.
Yeah. And you could even have like a tag system at the start and just be like, yep, these are the weapon types that my character has already got experience with, so has done the basic learning, so we'll level up proficiencies faster with these things.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe they would level up. It'd probably be better to level them up by use. So like the more you use them.
Like in OG Borderlands.
Yeah. Man, yeah.
That's the one that immediately jumped to my head.
Yeah. Well, it's called proficiency too, so that connection makes sense. Yeah, you can use the weapon, but you got to use it for a while to get good.
Yeah.
With that weapon, I think that would be cool. Even like a little Skyrim or Oblivion action with like armor types or something like that. Like,
yeah, I would like to see armor types come into Fallout and be somewhat distinctive, because while we technically have had them in previous games, they've never been a huge like distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the way that we do get in the Elder Scrolls.
It's more like it's locked you out of perks, which I'm not really a fan of, which is why I would kind of want the proficiency thing to be there too. Like in New Vegas, for example, like so many people swear by the Stealth Suit Mark II. Yeah. But it's medium armor. There is, as far as I know, there's no medium armor perks. Like it was just a class of armor that just got thrown in the game and isn't benefiting from what heavy and light are. Or metal. There was a refractor thing, right?
Oh, are you talking about like in Shining Light?
In Shining Armor.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, that one doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah.
It was intended on working, but it doesn't.
Yep. It's just broken. Which sucks, because it seemed like a really cool perk.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, this completely fails in every way. Mm-hmm. Oops.
I would want to see medium armor just be like reworked or removed.
Yep.
If it got added back in somehow.
Yeah, it has a solid like point of usage as a nice midway between not being too vulnerable but not being too detrimental to like speed and stuff.
Right.
But actually implementing it correctly, I feel like is a challenge.
Yeah.
Can be done.
But I mean, Fallout 4's layered armor system is pretty good anyway. Like just putting a weight to the overall armor that you're deciding to wear, or armor pieces that you're deciding to wear could work as a armor classing system.
Yep. I'd want to see more like noticeable effects, I'd say, from the weight. Because the main thing it does in Fallout 4 is restrict inventory space. I'd like to see more of a dramatic, like, oh, you're in light armor, so maybe you draw weapons faster and you move a lot faster and things like that. And oh, you're in heavy armor, so while the protection and numerical stats are a lot better, you are clearly very slower on everything.
Yeah.
I'd like it to be a little more pronounced.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have much else to add when it comes to elements for character builds.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about a lot of things here.
A lot more mechanical with some of the topic.
Yeah, well, we covered so much stuff there. There's plenty for people to mull over themselves. That is a big bite we've taken.
Yes.
So let's rest up and talk about games.
Yeah. Talk about why you're a legend, Sarge.
I'm not. I played you from the start.
But you are, though.
Am I an Elder Scrolls legend?
No, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I've been playing Elder Scrolls Legends, which is a card game in the Elder Scrolls world.
Yeah.
Which I played. I installed it recently because I was going to do some fact-checking research, which I ended up not needing for a video I'll talk about in a minute. But I played some Elder Scrolls Legends, and you know what? It is a solid, quite enjoyable card game.
Oh.
I was surprised. Like, it feels like a much more simplified Magic the Gathering to me, but I was like, hey, I'm having fun with this. This is decent. Had a nice little story about, like, the war between the Eldmeri Dominion and the Legion, which you kind of get to hear through flashback / card game fighting, which is fun. I enjoyed it. It was a nice little story. And then I beat the story and it was like, cool, now I head into the thing where I can build my own decks and do some other things. And oh, there's 3 other stories. And oh, wait, why is everything behind a paywall? Yeah. The other 3, like, solo narrative stories are all have to pay real money for them, which is a shame.
Boo.
But you get a bunch of, like, decks and cards at the start, so I was like, okay, let's just go try some other stuff and see how that goes. And, oh, everyone has, like, tons of legendary cards, which you have to spend money and coins and stuff to get. And leveling's incredibly slow, so you don't get rewards very often. And the rewards you do get are in minuscule amounts, and, like, getting a good card costs, like, 12,000 soul gems, and you get, like, 50 tops for a victory. So, yeah, I kind of hit a wall in the game where if I want to be able to win any matches, I have to pay money for better cards.
Oh.
Yeah, because I'm just constantly... It's not that I'm being outplayed, it's that whenever I go up against a match that isn't the bot on the easiest difficulty, they just have better value cards. And that's it. It's as simple as that, and it's like, sometimes I can win, but I basically have to get lucky and then my opponent has to get unlucky. If anything apart from that happens, I have lost, and there is no way for me to win. And I feel like the gamers are just a little too pay to win, unfortunately.
Dang.
Which sucks, because it had some interesting ideas, it could have been a cool little card game, but I'm just like, oh no, it just doesn't quite work. It's worse than Magic the Gathering when it comes to the pay-to-win elements, in my opinion. Or at least Magic the Gathering Arena, which is the online computery version. Which is a shame. The reason I started playing that originally was because I made a couple of Skyrim videos talking about the Civil War.
Yeah.
And I did In Defense of the Imperial Legion and In Defense of the Stormcloaks, where I talk about, like, why people kind of join each side, what's good about them, what's bad about them. It was a fun little exploration thing that I did.
They're both good videos, and I watched them both, Sarge.
Thank you. I was happy with how they came out. I was glad to see a fair few people in the comments having some more nuanced takes and, like, actually discussing things based on points and not just going with the my camp is right. Although there were some people who definitely went with that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's an expectation.
Yeah, I had one terrible example which sticks in my brain, which is where I talked about how we see both the Imperial Legion and Thalmor have, like, torturing areas, and we specifically see that in-game in the main story. It is very much pointed out. Whereas the Stormcloaks, we never see evidence of them doing torturing or anything. Mm-hmm. And there's no evidence of that in the game. And one person just coming with the argument of, no, I think the Stormcloaks have tortured, therefore they did it.
Oh.
Just like, yeah. And I was like, well, there's no way for me to reply to this and have a conversation because you're arguing on the guilty until proven innocent style of thing. And sure, there's literally no evidence to put them as guilty, but I can't claim that they never have tortured someone because maybe they just did it and we never got to see it and there's no shreds of evidence and nobody ever talks about it. So...
Yeah.
Yeah. There were a few people arguing like that, and it's just like, well, there's no point talking there, because that's just... I think they did something, and it's impossible to disprove that without seeing every single moment in every single location for all of time. So, I'm right. So that was...
Though you also, I just forgot, like Solitude, you mentioned public executions as a point against the Imperial Legion, but that's like the first thing you see when you enter Solitude as well.
Yep.
So you get a double dose. You're like, oh yeah, remember when they tried to chop off your head? That was great.
Yeah.
Like, now watch this man lose his.
Yep. Yeah, I feel very much the Imperial Legion was made to stand out as looking bad at the very beginning, and then slowly over time for players to kind of understand them more, and the opinion to go up when you really kind of started looking into things. And the Stormcloaks were supposed to look very good at the beginning, and then slowly look worse over time until you realise that they're flawed.
Yeah.
I feel like they came from the two different directions there, and honestly, it's very well done. Just throughout, both sides very well written, there's interesting characters, and neither side is right or wrong.
Yeah. Because I can... Really good. If I can play both sides, like the Windhelm intro is two dudes being bigots to a dark elf. Yep. So like, like it's there.
There are most definitely flaws to both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So the people arguing that one side is perfect and the other side is evil is always fun to see.
Yes.
But no. And I also published a video just the other day where I had my little rant about the Anniversary Edition news, which I already talked about, and it has so many thousands of views from complete strangers who have never seen my channel. But I've gained a lot of subscribers. Like, I've got 50 extra subscribers in the past day.
Dang!
Yeah.
You just gotta post your opinion about Skyrim more.
Yeah. I mean, I'm genuinely planning on making an Elder Scrolls Legends video at the start of December. I'm planning on putting that out as like, the worst Elder Scrolls game ever made.
Ooh, yeah.
Kind of having a spicy take about it. So hopefully that'll boost us up a bit. But yeah, it is my top videos in the last 48 hours. The Ultimate Beginner's Guide has been at the top of that list for almost all this year. But now it is being beaten by 5 times as many views in a video that came out exactly 24 hours ago from the time we're currently at recording.
Dang.
Yeah, that video has hit recommended for so many people, and it's literally just me having a little rant to my audience.
Yeah.
So I hate the fact that that's the video.
Yeah, like that's the worst too. Like,
yeah.
But I feel like you also knew that it was going to spike again in popularity.
I mean, I was expecting people who actually watch my channel to click on it, and I was expecting a little bit. Like, I thought my initial thing was like, I might have 500 views within the first day it's out. That'll be good. That'll be a solid one, and I might hit like a few thousand views on this video, because I've been struggling to hit like 1,000 views on my videos recently.
Yeah. And
now it's at just under 5k in a day.
That's so many. That's so that's unusual.
I just wish the comments were better.
Yeah.
There are too many people who click on a video where the thumbnail says "This is pissing me off," and the title includes Skyrim Anniversary Edition rant, being like, "Oh my god, I can't believe someone's complaining."
Yeah.
I wish there was less of that. People, hey, pro tip, look at the video you're about to click on, and you might be able to work out somewhat of what the video is about.
It's so weird that like, does some of their brains just shut off when they see the thumbnail? They're just like, this gets my attention, but I don't understand the context, even though it says it.
I've managed to strike stupid. I've hit the ore vein. The stupid's leaking out of a rock, and I'm like, oh dear. Oh,
we need buckets. Get the buckets.
Yep. But because I've dealt with all of that, I've been chilling out a bit in Borderlands 3, doing my little flak playthrough, which has been great. I've also very much enjoyed listening to the voice acting, because ProZD, the YouTuber, Someone Show, voices flak, and I've now watched a bunch of his YouTube content, like a ton of it, And now listening to Flack in game, it's quite interesting to hear his voice and be like, oh yeah, that's him. That's nice.
Yeah.
This is a nice little thing. And I've played some Final Fantasy IX recently, just to calm down and be like, oh, let's escape from the world for a minute.
Just do a little jump rope? Do a little jump rope in Alexandria?
No, I'm in the evil forest from my save.
Okay.
And I've just been fighting enemies perfectly every time, because I'm a god at the game. Although at some point I'm going to actually need to, like, speed run it, so to speak, so I can get the Excalibur. Because I'm at, like, 3 to 4 hours played, and I'm in, like, the second location of the game.
Mm.
And it's, like, basically beat the game in under 12 hours, almost, for one of the weapons. And normally at the 12-hour part, it's like, you're in the ice cavern, the 4th location you go to.
There's so many locations in 9.
9 is great. I love it so much. It's a great exploration. But yeah, I've been having some fun in that game. Because it's good to have a game which you can just use as pure escapism, and Final Fantasy IX is that game for me.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so good for my mental health.
Yeah.
Like, I was in a bad place yesterday before I went to bed. Like, my brain had just gone bad. I played some Final Fantasy IX, and I got back to a stable level.
Yeah. Man, yeah, comment your feel-good games. Like, games that are like a security blanket.
Yeah.
That's Death Stranding for me. Like, if I'm feeling really doo-doo poopy, like, freaking play as Norman Reedus and walk around and maybe ride a motorcycle and build some stuff, deliver some things, go snowboarding.
Yep. Something nice and chill.
Put up a zip line for someone else across the world.
Yeah.
It's nice. Anyway, I haven't been playing Death Stranding because I haven't been in too much of a bad place, but mainly because I've been obsessed with Path of Exile.
Yes.
That's a bit of an understatement. Like, I have been doing nothing but playing Path of Exile. Well, I've also been leaving it up in the background, which has kind of padded my hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But like this is taking my top spot for free to plays from Warframe, I think. Like, Warframe is going to be a number 2 because Path of Exile doesn't have boosters. It's just got cosmetics and inventory slots, or inventory stash pages or whatever.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it.
So there's a tiny bit of pay to have something which helps you a little, but
yeah,
sounds like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, your stash starts with so much space to begin with. Like, they don't intentionally limit. That's what I noticed, like, throughout the game, is they're not intentionally limiting things through, like, the gameplay in pretty much any way whatsoever.
That's good.
Where it's functionally you can play it no problem without spending any money. Some I'm saying that when I spent $30 on a little supporter pack to get some gold, to get some more item slots for, like, the currency items or the upgrade items.
Okay.
Because you can have a stack of 5,000 of each in that inventory spot, and they stack normally to like 5 to 20. So they can take up space after a while. But I've spent plenty of time in the game to justify spending a little bit of money. So the amount of, and nothing's locked away from the player. Man, freaking screw you, RuneScape. Fade into nothingness, please. Yeah, Path of Exile doesn't lock you out of anything. Like, I have played the game pretty much all the way through, almost entirely unassisted. I had the Union helping me out with a couple of things here and there, like a couple of bosses that I was struggling with. But even the boss fights are super forgiving. Like, you checkpoint right outside of the boss room. It's not like not like Diablo 2, where you're just like, oh crap, I forgot to put up a town portal. Looks like I'm walking the whole way again. No, it's checkpointed. It's like, it's so generous with, like, they want you to play their game. Like, it's very clear in Path of Exile that they want you to play their game. Should I mention the things that I sent you, Sarge?
Sure.
And what that pertains to, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So Sarge, I need to look at the name of this video project thing that you were planning on doing.
Oh, you mean it's going to be like 10 great games for build makers or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And
if anyone's got good suggestions for a name, let me know.
Sarge had initially asked me if Path of Exile is good for builds, and I was like, hell yeah. Because its builds are like threefold almost, or like three aspects, which is like equipment, which can modify your base attributes and resistances and stat stuff, HP, whatever. And then you have the sockets in gear, which in Diablo, you remember that sockets, can give you some interesting, weird passive stuff. Sockets in Path of Exile are specifically for gems that give you abilities. Like all of your abilities are tied to these gems. So think like materia in like the Final Fantasy VII, or like learning spells from gear in Final Fantasy IX kind of thing, and then choosing and socketing them kind of thing. Yeah. And then they have support gems, which can dramatically change what these abilities do. Like I now have a leap attack that has bleed attached to it. So I literally stomp somebody and they start bleeding, and then I start jumping into my other attack. There's other support gems that are just like, when this happens and this happens, like triggers kind of thing. So you can have like when you take damage, and then it has a damage threshold with how many HPs of damage, and then it'll trigger this ability that's attached to it, which is usually a guard skill of some kind. So it's just like, once you take 500 to 600 damage, then you'll get a massive boost to both of your defense and resistances, so you don't die immediately.
Nice.
Yeah. But then that's just the first basic aspects, and then you have what leveling up does for you, which you have points to spend in the passive skill tree, which is gigantic. Think of like, I keep using Final Fantasy as an example because
are you going to do the Final Fantasy X Orb one?
Yeah, the sphere grid bullcrap, because it's very similar look to that. Yeah. Or even I was going to say Final Fantasy 12 kind of does that.
Hey everyone, just go play all the Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, like they do skills in different fun ways, I guess. Yeah. But each class that you choose starts in a different part of that skill tree. So you can choose a like heavily strength-based character, but you can move towards the intelligence or dexterity like as far as you want to. It may not be a viable build, but you can do it. So like none of the passives are really aren't really locked out to you either, which is really cool. So there is full creative freedom, probably the most creative freedom I've seen in a like class-based RPG or action RPG dungeon crawler thing that I've seen. And also, I did find it entertaining. I told you this, Sarge, I think, but I did find it entertaining that the Diablo subreddit has way less people than the Path of Exile subreddit. And I think that's hilarious and well-deserved.
Yep. If you want a Diablo-like game, Path of Exile is a very good free-to-play,
yes.
And Grim Dawn, which I played recently, and will also feature in the video, is a very good, very cheap game. How much does Grim Dawn cost? The sun set in the past 10 minutes, so I can't see my keyboard, so I'm typing it right.
You don't have an RGB keyboard? I'm going to send you one.
No, I have red lights on it. But, it's 75% off, apparently.
Oh.
And it's currently £5.
Oh.
And it's normally at its base price £20, which is probably like $25. Yeah, it's. There's if you want a Diablo-like game that isn't Diablo, there are really good versions out there.
Yes.
Also, a Steam Halloween sale is on, so if you're looking for a game, apparently that's got stuff.
They have. I mean, you have to pay separate for the expansions. It looks like too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple of DLC expansions.
The spiritual successor to not Fallout. Diablo 2, the other two game.
Yeah.
The only other one.
Yep.
Is it on Game Pass? I want to check.
There's a lot of stuff in Game Pass. So much stuff.
Nope.
Yeah.
I had to check. If you want that, if you got that Diablo urge but are just tired of Blizzard's bullcrap, like, try Path of Exile. It's free.
Yep.
And it doesn't lock you out of crap. Like, that is my absolute favorite thing about it. Like, you can experience the whole game without spending a cent. So good. That's pretty much all I've been doing. I had a few editing bouts for the Fallout 2 playthrough, but I had pretty much everything edited for next month. Like, I was just waiting until the Patreon turnover to see who was going to be in credits and then render them all out. Good thing I waited too, because Caedo Dadness is now in in the credits.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. So that's it. That's all.
That's it. That's all, folks.
Yep. Leave a comment about the topic that we talked about that I totally remember. It was the elements.
Buildy builds.
Builds characters. Yeah. What kind of building aspects do you really like in games that you wish Fallout would do or would reintroduce? How do you feel about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands? Have you seen the Witcher 2 trailer with its weird background music?
Yep. Have you noticed the point where they censor out the music for half a second? Was it as jarring to you as it was to me?
Did you also get mad at the Skyrim Anniversary trailer?
Did you get mad at me for talking about the Skyrim Anniversary trailer?
Leave a comment below to become a comment of the cast. That's it for us. Tune in next episode 2 weeks from now, 10 a.m. Pacific on Sunday, for more Fallout nonsense and other stuff. Bye.